So I thought I would give you guys a breakdown, a kind of a rundown of my 6K Pro rig. So let's check it out. The sucker's heavy, man. I can't stop buying parts and I keep adding on to it and it's getting heavier and bigger. So starting off, we have the Pocket 6K Pro. Only reason I was intrigued to buy this camera is the built-in ND filters. So far, I'm not super crazy about the quality of the ND filters that are in here. I feel like every time I use them, they introduce like a lot of noise into my image, and I'm not sure why. Never really had that problem with ND filters. Then again, I've never bought very good glass. So that could be it. If you have an answer, drop a comment. I would love to hear it. Films in 6K, obviously, 60 frames a second and 5.7K. You can do 120 frames a second and 2.7K. It does crop into your sensor. That is kind of one downside. I guess it's the same thing as if you were to crop in on post, so it may not be a huge deal to some. For some, it might. Moving on from the Pocket 6K, we have the Tilta cage. I do really like this cage, and one other thing I like, there is mounting points everywhere. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love rigging and mounting crap onto my camera. Sometimes I am just kind of like a one-man band shooter. I don't always have a second or third shooter helping me. So sometimes I'm just solo, and in those situations, I kind of rig, depending on what I'm shooting, but I'll rig a lot on here. Moving on from there, we have the Neatsa. I knight you. I will knight you. I don't know how to say it. Neatsa, something like that. Top handle. Freaking love this top handle. I will tell you, I have had 4 top handles in my career. Don't be overwhelmed. I know it's a lot of top handle, but this is my favorite. Another reason why I love it, there's mounting points everywhere. Everywhere you have quarter screw, 3/8 screw, and it's also on a NATO rail, which I've mounted the NATO rail to the top of the cage. Another beautiful thing about this handle, the quick release. Pop! Bam, little red thing. So also compared to other handles I've had, this one is a freaking beast. Like, it's way bigger than the other handles I've had, which I love that. I feel like I have so much more grip and control just over the whole rig when I'm holding a handle that kind of like just fits. It just fits, you know what I'm saying? I love the style of it. I love the look. I love the finger grips. I'm crazy about this handle. When you're holding a camera for hours and hours on a shoot, you want it to feel good, baby. You want to feel good up in that hand, know what I'm saying? On to the big item, we have a small rig arm. Going from my handle to my monitor. And once again, I love this little arm. I love the versatility. I can move my monitor any direction with just a little twist. I can move it. I can face it to me. I can face it up when I'm shooting low. I can face it this way when I'm shooting high. So I can pretty much get every angle, mate. Anyway, from there, we have the Portkeys 7-inch monitor. I love this monitor. Before this one, I had the Portkeys 5-inch. 5 inches wasn't really big enough for me. I wanted something a little bigger so I can really tell if I'm in focus, not in focus, and really just be able to see all the kind of details in my shot. It's kind of why I went with the 7-inch. Also, this is a very bright monitor. I think it's 1200 nits. So outdoors, it works great. And it's kind of got this like matte black finish on it. I don't know what you call this, but it's like rubberized, I guess. And I'm super stoked on that. I love that look. I like the matte finish. I just think it looks cool. coming down back here, there's a battery. As you can see, big old fat Mandy Perkins battery. No idea who that is, but Perkins seemed to go very well with Mandy. So I have a couple V-mount batteries. This is my favorite just because it's like compact and it's like a little brick, and I just like the look of it. It just goes well with the rig. The other ones are like a lot taller and they come up to here, which is fine. I use the crap out of them, but this is kind of my main one. So it's a 14.8 volt battery, and with it I am powering my camera as well as the monitor. Occasionally I will hook up a wireless follow focus like the Tilta Nano, and so I'll have the battery powering the Nano as well. Moving on, basic V-mount plate. I wouldn't say I got like the cheapest one you could find online, but I would say I got the cheapest one you could find online. And it works. It works good. I've enjoyed it, you know? I think it was like $100, maybe 120, something like that. I will say these knobbies, like I gotta tighten the freaking crap out of them, or else this just, can you hear that? Yeah, it just likes to move around. So up here, the SSDs, just the Samsung T5 SSDs. This is just a 500 gig. I have a couple terabytes worth of these, shooting at 6K. Depending on how long your shoot is and what you're shooting, you're gonna fill up a lot of gigs. So I would highly recommend having a handful of T5s, filling them suckers up. Little Tilta mount that I got. I think it was like 20 bucks, something like that. Not too sure. Got the DZO. We got the DZO. Pictor 20 to 55 milli. Now this lens, talk about love. Talk about love at first sight. I absolutely adore this lens. I remember when we had our first date, maybe a year and a half ago, took her out to an interview and some B-roll. Got all sugared up, we're feeling buzzed, and sure enough, I clipped her onto the camera. But for real, DZO, they make great lenses. This is the only one I've had, so believe me, they're great. I assume the rest of their lenses are as good or better as this one. This is my main lens. This is pretty much what I shoot most of my content on. I also have the Sigma 18 to 35, and then I have just a basic Canon 85 millimeter. You guys ever had a meatball sub from Subway? God, sorry if I keep burping. The meatballs, baby. The meatballs. The DZO. This lens is the tits. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful range, 20 millimeters to 55. It is completely manual. The T-stop goes from 2.8 all the way down to 22. We have our zoom ring going from 20 millimeters to 55 millimeters. All of the rings are super smooth. And I will say this lens is built like a tank. It is the most beastly lens I have owned. And it is just wrapped in metal housing. I love all of the yellow numbers on here that really just show you exactly where you're at. So the picture quality out of this lens is immaculate. I love it. I have compared it and really done like a side-by-side with this lens and the Sigma 18 to 35. A couple things I've noticed is the Sigma seems to pick up a lot more greens, whereas the DZO did not pick up as much greens. And really what I felt, it picked up a lot more kind of like earthy tones, and the image quality and the look that came out of it just seemed a lot more natural to me than the Sigma. The Sigma seemed a bit more saturated as well. And I liked how this one wasn't. I liked the just more natural, realistic look that came out of it. This lens just has a naturally smooth look that comes out of it. Turn this bad boy just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? This is the Edelkrone Follow Focus. You can draw on this with pen or dry erase marker and it just wipes right off. I also like how big this part is. It's just a bigger piece to hold on to. This one is incredibly smooth though. I mean, it handles this lens so well and I love it. You can loosen this dude up depending on, you know, how high your lens is from the rail. You can adjust it to where it fits your lens, you know, how you want it. I have a small rig lens support on here, which I would recommend to anyone who is shooting with bigger, bulkier lenses. Highly recommend having some type of lens support. And jumping up to the very front, we have the small rig matte box. I love this matte box. I love the size of it. I love how you don't have to have rails to use it. It can just clamp right onto the front of your lens. The sunshade is just so easy and adjustable. I mean, so easy to use. I love how it's got 2 filter slots. I love the filter slots. I don't even have filters yet. One day I'm gonna get filters though, for reals. Have some shade over the front of the lens. That way you just get a nice, crispy image. At the bottom, I have some 11-inch pure sterling silver rails. No, I'm just kidding. But I liked the silver ones. I used to have black rails, but I kind of wanted to switch it up, add a little bit of color onto my rig. So I got silver. So all in all, that is pretty much the rig. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed checking out the camera rig. I enjoyed showing it to you. I love talking cameras, camera parts, rigs, mics, anything to do with cameras, gear. I love it. So if there's any other gear you guys would like to see, or you guys maybe want to see me review, just let me know. And like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel.